guys are playing today for pride and for the Bay League Championship, basically. The winner of this game will definitely be in the driver's seat.
Exactly, and of course a Leuzinger victory tonight assures them of at least a tie for first place in the Bay League. They've already tied up a playoff spot. Hawthorne is playing to stay alive. So this game probably means a little bit more to that team on the other side of the field. But as we know, again, we can't say it too many times, it's a rivalry. Bragging rights are on the line. These guys walk down the streets with each other. They're playing to win. You know, everybody is.
Helmets up on the Leuzinger sideline, and it's ready for kickoff time. It's going to be a great game. Stick with us, everybody.
Well, from what we can see, Angel Andrade, number 15, the junior all-star kicker for the Olympians, will be kicking up to the Cougars. So what that basically means is, in the second half, they'll be getting the ball if they're down by a lot of points, they will have the ball the first possession in the second half.
That's great. It's showtime, folks, so without any further ado, there are no more words to be said. The game is to be played on the field. A winner will be determined tonight. Let's get it on! And it's taken by Ron Bowden. He swings around the right side, and he's brought down to the thunderous applause of the crowd at about the 25-yard line. So from their own 25-yard line, Curtis Conway and the Hawthorne Cougars will go on offense for the first time.
Well, number 24 for the Olympians, Tim Camilo, made the first impact, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more impact where that's coming from.
Well, here's our first chance to see if there are any special offensive strategies that Coach Garcia's put in. They open it up, we're keeping it on the ground to go around the right side and for a short gain. It was Ron Bolden.
I think it's going to be important, Rufus and Alex, for Hawthorne to control their offense. They've got to keep time. They've got to keep the Leuzinger offense off the field. They've got to establish a running game, I feel, early to keep that Leuzinger offense off the field.
I think they're going to do that. We know that, well, Conway can do it both ways. Right now he's dropping back the pass. He's rolling right. He throws and it's completed. That completion is out to the 38-yard line. It's going to be good enough for a first down. That was Eric Tobert, his favorite receiver. Well, let's say a second favorite. He's got two fine receivers in Eric Tobert and Keith Pouncey.
It'll be 1st and 10 on the play for the Olympians.
And that play was good enough for a first down. So from the 38-yard line, it's 1st and 10. And we see one of the Olympians jumping offside there. That was number 35, Aaron Manny Gonzalez, the outside penalty.
Alex, you've been covering these guys a little bit longer than we have. Have you ever seen a crowd as pumped up for a game as this one is tonight?
The only time you see crowds like this is like at a university rival game. The second best you're going to get to see in a prep division kind of football game is that Banning and Carson. But for the first time, Hawthorne and Leuzinger are going at it, and the rivalry is high.
So from the 43-yard line on first down, Hawthorne keeps it on the ground, pushes it out to about the 46-yard line, Ron Bolden.
Number 77, Andre English.
A member of that fine stable of Hawthorne running backs that includes Ron Bolden, Dean Dunbar, and Brent Floyd. So far, they've only called Bolden's name tonight, but I'm sure we'll see Brent Floyd and Dean Dunbar before this night's over with. It would appear to me in the early going, guys, that Curtis Conway has played within himself. He's not scrambling quite as much as he would against most other defenses. This time they keep it on the ground, and it would appear that Conway's picked up the first down.
Well, the defense will be getting tested tonight, guys. Why? Because they've eaten up all the publicity. Hawthorne, you know, has to be jealous of that fact that they're getting all the publicity, that they're ranked this and they're number 1 in here and number 2 in here. And look, Hawthorne's the underdogs. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain if they beat Leuzinger tonight.
10 yards to go.
So it's a 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line for the Hawthorne Cougars. This being their opening drive of the game. They give it again to Ronald Bolden. He breaks a couple of tackles. He's coming around left side. He's fighting one man, and he picks up excellent yardage. That's Ron Bolden, ladies and gentlemen. Brings the ball down to the 40-yard line. And that'll be another first down for the Hawthorne Cougars.
unnecessary yardage for the first down. It'll be Hawthorne.
Back to what Alex said, the Los Angeles Times South Bay edition had a big story on the Leuzinger Olympians today, and you know there are about 40 guys wearing white jerseys who read that before they came out here tonight. They do have something to prove tonight, that they're not the second best team in this area.
As we see on the replay there, Bowden picked up excellent yardage on the carry. This time Conway drops back to pass. He's rolling right. He's gone into a scramble mode. Here he comes. They're on him. And you see it as he releases the ball and it falls incomplete. One thing about it, as we've said before, let's face it, the Olympian defense is probably the best defense that Conway's faced all season. They know he's a scrambler. I'm sure they've practiced all week how you defense a guy with as much mobility as Conway has. And that time, the Olympian defense showed excellent coverage on Conway.
Exactly right. Again, chased out of the pocket. Curtis Conway, a scrambler, but he had a lot of pressure on him that time. All he could do is throw it away.
So it's a 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars from the Leuzinger 39-yard line. Conway drops back to pass. He pitches back to Bowden, and Bowden's going to be dropped for a loss. It seems like Coach Carnes has his men well prepared. Thus far, and there was a fumble on the play. Recovered by Danny Al. In the midst of all the excitement, ladies and gentlemen, I must admit, even we missed that play. There was a fumble recovered by the Olympian.
Here you see the replay.
And there it is. We see Ron Bowden losing the ball.
Looked like the ball came out awful late. If we were in the NFL, we might look at that one again.
So now the Olympians go on offense for the first time from their own 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Zach Odom drops back to pass. He throws in the flat. It's completed. It's out over midfield. And that pass was completed to Damon Whitmore.
Pick up on the play of about 7 yards.
Damon Whitmore was someone that I said all week watching game films, they have got to get the ball to this kid. He's big, he's fast, he's got some great moves. They have got to get this kid the ball at least 20 times, passing or running.
And there you see that he not only can do it on a handoff, he can do it on a short pass. And we haven't seen that play yet, so expect the unexpected.
So from the 49-yard line, it's a 2nd down and 3 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter for the Leuzinger Olympians on their first time on offense. And it would appear to be a fumble. There's a fumble on the play. There is a flag. Looks like it's going to be recovered by Hawthorne. Big revenge fumble on that play. There were flags. That was Keith Pouncey who recovered the fumble. So thus far we've seen turnovers on both sides that have killed what looked to be 2 promising drives.
Maybe these kids are a little too pumped up. A little bit of the early game jitters here. They'll settle down though. A couple of fumbles. Coaches start to scream it a little bit and they'll settle down.
Well, fumble-wise coming into the game, 17 fumbles. Olympians have recovered 14 of them. So here we go, 1-1.
It's Hawthorne's ball on the 1st down and 10. Conway keeps it himself and turns it upfield. He's got one man to beat. He's going. It's a touchdown. Curtis Conway. Hawthorne strikes first with 7 minutes, 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Conway on the quarterback keeper takes it 58 yards.
I have one thing to say. Wow.
That's all you can say. Yeah.
Curtis Conway.
Everybody's consensus All-American, and on that play, he's shown why it was. He simply outran the defense. They over-pursued him, and even after he got in front of him, and they still couldn't catch him. So 7 minutes, 23 seconds left in the first quarter. As we go to the replay here, we see Conway breaking across the middle of the field as Richie Jacobs, amongst others, pursuing him. They won't catch him, though. And that's a touchdown, and Hawthorne strikes first.
And Hawthorne strikes first because Conway's making it so easy. I mean, all these big moves, acceleration, the power, the drive. I'm not describing the car, people out there. That's Curtis Conway putting in full gear.
Here comes the all-important extra point attempt. It's up, and it's good. So that makes the score 7. So 7 minutes, 23 seconds to play in the first quarter. Hawthorne Cougars go ahead by a score of 7-0.
Curtis Conway showing a few moves of a name that you brought up earlier, Rufus. Jamel Holloway of Oklahoma running that option, turning it upfield. And once he's in the open, very, very hard to run him down. You try to get an angle on him, and he just outraced the entire Leuzinger secondary. A great run by a great player, and going to have a big future in college football.
And without a doubt.
Here we see it again. And watch him turn on the speed, leaving 3 Leuzinger defenders in his tracks.
Getting off for the Cougars will be number 20,
Once again, Eddie Coyne will be picking up where he left off. He split the uprights for the extra point. Now he's going to come out to punt the ball away. Quan Banks on the near side, number 88, 21 is Richie Jacobs. The kick goes into the end zone.
That was a deep, deep kickoff by Eddie Coyne. I think everybody's motivated now. Eddie's a good kicker, but I haven't seen him kick one in the end zone all season. The adrenaline is flowing, and obviously the Olympians coming out on this drive will want to reestablish some momentum because it's definitely slipped away. And a game like this, as at every level, you want to take the crowd out of the game. And Hawthorne has been successful in doing that very early in the contest. They've taken the Leuzinger crowd out of this game for the moment.
And what Hawthorne wants to do also is stop Leuzinger on this series. It's very big when you score quickly to hold the team on their next possession.
From their own 20-yard line, this is their second possession. It's Zach Odom, and it's out in the flat, and it's completed out to the 30-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down.
Jeff Loudon.
That's Jeff Loudon, his tight end, big number 82.
Pick up on the play, first down, 10 yards.
Jeff Loudon gets a lot of action on short passes like that. He is the guy that takes care of the punt. He punts the ball away, and here he just gets
Leuzinger ball, first down, 10 yards to go on the Hawthorne 32-yard line.
So, on that play, the Olympians did pick up a first down, so it's first down and 10 from the 32-yard line. This time they're kicking on the ground, and that's Damon Whitmore, number 12, and he breaks off a big run. Almost broke it open. Takes it out to the 48-yard line.
Here you see the replay. Damon Whitmore right up the gut. Leuzinger trying to establish that run. And again, I said, Whitmore's the key tonight, I think. Big game for Whitmore will mean a Leuzinger victory.
Of course, the last 2 plays have been good for the Olympian momentum as they've been able to get something established, and I'm sure they want to keep what they've got going. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time it's Tim Camilo, and Tim Camilo picks up about 5 yards on the carry.
Cross midfield into Hawthorne territory. A pick up on the play of about 7 yards.
So they're mixing up their carriers tonight, or their ball runners tonight, between Camilo and it was that Damon Whitmore thus far. And we've seen the Olympians go to the pass much earlier in this game than we have in the past. But right now they're trying to pull even with the Cougars, who lead by a score of 7-0. And that pass is complete in the flat to Tyrone Scott, and that's going to be enough for a first down. So at the 43-yard line, the Olympian drive stays alive.
First down, 10 yards.
I think Zach Odom is a vastly underrated passer. I've seen a lot of people drop a lot of balls this season. He's got a good arm. He doesn't look like he can go too deep. As we look at the replay here, just a screen out in the flat. He's got a good arm. He's very accurate. Doesn't have the high percentage, though, if you look at his statistics, but, you know, that doesn't take into consideration drop balls. And
coming into this game, Zach Odom had completed 28 out of 71 attempts for 701 yards with a 39% completion rate. The Olympians keep the ball on the ground on the first down, and they pick up approximately 3 yards, so they'll make it a second down and 7 for the Olympians.
Well, you just mentioned that, Rufus, about his passing statistics on the ground.
The stop was made by Kevin
345 yards.
It'll be second down, 8. The ball
his longest
is on the Cougar 39-yard line.
So he is dangerous on the ground when he's close to the end zone.
Both of these quarterbacks are fine running quarterbacks, and Zach Odom certainly ranks with Curtis Conway as a rushing quarterback. Odom drops back to pass, and he's being pursued, and the pursuit gets to him this time. He's going to be sacked for a loss on the play.
Zach Odom is dropped for a loss in the backfield, back to the 44-yard line, leading the Cougar charge.
Hawthorne High School sending everybody, and I think they got a couple of cheerleaders in on that play. They threw everybody at Zach Odom and couldn't get rid of the ball quickly enough. Goy Casillas is not a guy to lay back. He's going to rush 7, 8 guys sometimes.
He's a hard charger. This is a big third down play for the Olympians with 4 minutes, 35 seconds left in the half. Third down and 12 from their own 44. And the pass is completed in the flat to number 88. And he's got the sideline. He may make it. He certainly picks up the first down as he pushes the ball down to the 21-yard line. A big momentum play for for the Olympians. It was 3rd down and 12 from their 44. They picked up 23 yards on the play. Keeps their drive alive. And as Alex and I have seen all season, here we see the replay.
Odom just connects with his favorite receiver, number 88 right there, and he just puts a few moves, and he's got Conway to get past, gets out to the flat there.
So it's a 1st down and 10 from the Hawthorne 21 for the Leuzinger Olympian. They keep the ball on the ground once again, and that's number 24, Tim Camilo, and Tim Camilo picks up about 7 yards on the carry.
7 yards on the play down inside the 50.
Seems to be,
2nd down and 3.
excuse me, Rufus, seems to be an off-tackle play that Carnes is running an awful lot. He's running it, as you said, with different backs, but it looks to be the same play right up the middle, and Leuzinger's doing real well, as you see. Off-tackle run, and that's good for 7-8 yards. That'll keep the drive alive.
So both teams are stressing their running games as we get started early. They're wanting to establish the ground game, and they've done a very effective job of it so far. With 4 minutes left in the first quarter, Hawthorne leads by a score of 7-0, but the Olympians are driving at the 12-yard line. They keep it on the ground once again. This is Zach Odom, and he's going to be stopped after a short gain.
On a quarterback keeper, Zach Odom brings the ball down very close to the 10-yard line.
Odom picks up about 2 yards on that carry.
It is Leuzinger's ball.
And it is a 1st down. 1st and goal for the Olympians. They're threatening. Their crowd's getting back into the game, and this is what they want to do. And this is what Hawthorne did not want to see, was this Olympian crowd in this ball game. So on the 1st and goal from the 9-yard line, let's see what the Olympians can do here. They keep the ball on the ground once again. That's Timmy Camille. And Timmy Camille gets down to about the 5-yard line. It's going to be a 2nd and goal.
Great effort by Timmy Camillo on that run, bouncing off tacklers, keeping his legs moving, smelling that goal line.
Talent there by a little 165. Doing a hell of a job out there for a little guy.
And it's a 2nd and goal for the Olympians from the Hawthorne 3-yard line. They come out in the T formation. Zach Odom under the quarterback, and he hands off to Tim Camille. Keeps it himself. Touchdown! Odom keeps it himself. He faked the inside handoff to Timmy Camille. Kept it himself, went around right in. And at the 2:51 mark, the Olympians get on the board and have a chance to pull even.
Zach Odom fakes the handoff up the middle, keeps it around tackle by himself, and scores the touchdown. Extra point to come, and this game so far has lived up to expectations.
Well, one thing we know, this is an all-important extra point attempt for the Olympians. Angel Andrade has had some problems all year long. Of course, I went with the young man to be the difference in this game. Let's see. It's up, and they signal no good. On a big call, it was no good. How many times in football have you seen that mixed extra point come back to haunt a team? And Angel Andrade has to be certainly the most disappointed person in the stadium right now.
No doubt about that, Rufus. 2 of the last 3 years, these teams have tied. Here you're going to see the touchdown run by Zach Odom. He trips a little bit, keeps his feet moving, and jumps into the end zone. You can't afford to miss extra points in a matchup as close and emotional as this. Every point counts.
What we just witnessed right there a few minutes ago was something that happened to Hawthorne last week when they played Beverly Hills. Eddie Corn came in, the snap was a little bad, and the kick was wide right, okay? But what Casillas intended in doing after that was going for a conversion attempt. They missed 3 in a row. So now look for Carnes to try to go for some conversion attempts. Andrade isn't as effective as he was.
And here's the Olympian kickoff, and it's a good deep kick. Looks like it's taken by Curtis Conway. Conway goes around the right side. He's still breaking tackles. He's still on his feet. He's finally brought down at about the 35-yard line. Conway, I should say actually about the 30-yard line, Conway returned the ball to. They spotted finally on the 29-yard line.
You can't hear it with this crowd, Rufus, but there's some helmets bashing tonight. These guys are hitting.
There are a lot of animosities being taken out on that field, and I'm glad it's on the field and not up here in the stands with us. So it's a first down and 10 for Hawthorne from their own 29-yard line. They keep it on the ground, giving it to Dean Dunbar, and he goes around right side, picks up a couple of yards on the play.
Right guard taking on the play of about 5 yards.
Great thing about both these teams is they have several backs that can carry the ball along with the quarterback, so nobody gets too tired, nobody gets too fatigued, nobody gets too beaten up, and at the end of the season, especially if you're going into CIF, that's great. You don't want knees beaten up and shoulders and the like.
And of course, Leuzinger carries about 65 guys on their varsity squad, so they've got more than an ample amount of replacements for anybody on the field. On second down play, they keep it on the field, and the Olympians able to, that's Brent Floyd who carried the ball out to the 40.
It'll be Hawthorne's ball, first down, 10.
And one of the Leuzinger defenders have made a critical tackle for what could have been a big play.
Number 19, senior.
Brett Floyd is one of the guys that will be the workhorses for the Cougars. Dean Dunbar, 5'11", 165, and Ron Bolden, 5'9", 170. There are the other guys, the small, little, durable little rushers for the Cougars.
So a first down and 10 from the 41. Keith Pouncer goes in motion for Hawthorne to keep the ball on the ground, however, by giving it to Dean Dunbar. And he goes around right side, picks up about 2 yards on the carry. Pushes the ball out to about the 43, let's call it the 44-yard line. But that'll make it a second down and 8 for the Cougars.
One thing that I want to point out, on a rivalry, such emotion, so high tense as this kind of game, you use up all your energy. You know, you're pumped up and you're running. You end up getting tired and all burned out by the end of the last fourth quarter.
Exactly. So it's a second down and 7 for the 43-yard line for the Cougars. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time it's Rob Bolden, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. No gain. The Olympian defense, let's face it, these guys are ranked number 3 in the South Bay area. They're going against the number 5 ranked offense, so you could expect that there's going to be some seesawing all night long. You've got a great defense playing a great offense. That makes it a third down and 6 from the 44-yard line for Hawthorne now. A big defensive play for Leuzinger, a big offensive play for them. On the pitch back, there it is, he cuts upfield. He's going to be brought down short of the first down. It's going to be about, looks like about a yard short. That was Dean Dunbar on the carry. And the Olympian defense is starting to rise to the occasion.
A yard to go, the ball.
And with that play, we have the end of one quarter. So after one quarter, the score stands Hawthorne Cougars 7, the Leuzinger Olympian 6. When we come back to live action, it'll be a fourth down and 1 for the Hawthorne Cougars. And we'll see how they play this. It wouldn't surprise me if they decide to go for it.
No, not a game like this, and especially because Hawthorne has had a lot of success running the football. I don't think there's any doubt that they'll go for it. You got to have confidence in guys like Curtis Conway and Dunbar to run and get what looks to be about 2 feet, actually.
How would you size up what we saw in the first quarter, Alex?
What we saw in the first half was a seesaw type of battle. The recovering of the fumbles, the emotion turning from one side of the field to the other side of the field. And in the first quarter, the 3-yard run by Odom and the missed extra point will be a key factor to look at.
All right. So it's a fourth down and 1 from the 49, and they're going for it, and here's the play, and they pick it up. They pick it up. That's Brent Floyd, the workhorse. Picks up more than enough for the first down, so Hawthorne now in Leuzinger territory at the 46-yard line. Keeps their drive going.
Henry Ben shot through the line like someone shot him out of a cannon. Unfortunately, he went right by the running back. Had he hit him straight on, he may have stopped him, and that would have been a big defensive play, but so far, right now, Hawthorne first and 10.
And it's a first and 10 from the 46-yard line. They come out in the I formation. They pitch back to Rob Bolden. He goes around left side, and he's going to be dropped after a couple of yards. There's a late flag on the play, however. It was thrown by the back judge, and we'll have to see what the call is here. The preliminary signal indicates that it's going to be against the Cougars.
believe that's the first penalty of the football game, and in a game this charged with this much emotion, you'd expect more mistakes by the players. Shows you they're two well-coached teams, Alex.
Yes, they are two well-coached teams, well-disciplined, and they execute very well. So expect a real tough ball game just like this in the second half. Right now they're going back and forth, and like I said earlier, in the big little subject we had here tonight, that this will be a close game. The first half has always been close for the Cougars the past two games, and sure enough, it's repeating itself tonight.
That was a 5-yard illegal motion penalty against the Cougars. That pushes them back in their own territory at their own 49-yard line. Makes it a 1st and 15 for them now. We've got 11 minutes left in the first half, folks. Hawthorne's leading by a score of 7-6. Conway drops back to pass. He's being pursued by the defenders, and they're going to get to him, and they do. They bring him down. Conway picks up maybe a yard on the play on forward momentum. And thus far, the Olympian defenders have done a pretty decent job of containing Curtis Conway.
That's exactly right, Rufus. He's scrambling around, but he's not getting outside where he'll scramble for big yardage. He's being contained by the defensive ends in the pocket. He has nowhere to go but forward. And as you see here, he pulls everybody for about a yard, but that's all. It's still 2nd 14.
41, the hitman, Thomas Porter.
Makes it a 2nd and 14. Now they're inside Olympian territory at the Olympian 49-yard line. Conway once again drops back to pass. He's looking across the middle, and it's broken up. That pass was intended for Keith Pouncey. Broken up by Richie Jacobs. An excellent defensive play by Richie Jacobs. Let's see if we can see that again.
Richie Jacobs going to get hit of the week on that one.
Excellent pass, excellent throw. Excellent throw. Here we see it on the replay. Conway dropping back to pass, and there it is to Richie Jacobs, to Keith Pouncey, and Richie Jacobs hit him right at the moment the ball got there and jarred it loose. That's an NFL type play there.
Can't play it any better than that, Rufus.
Makes it a 3rd down and 14 now for the Cougars. The Olympian defense will definitely want to come up to the task and hold here. There's a pass across the middle, and he's going to pick up enough for the 1st down, however. Once again, the Olympians on 2 big 3rd down plays have had them right where they wanted them and let them get off the hook. And if you let Hawthorne get off the hook continuously like that, it's going to come back to haunt you.
Curtis Conway showing why he's not just a running quarterback. He's got a great arm. Threw that ball right on the money for 1st down.
In the 2nd period.
So from the Olympian 35-yard line, the Cougars of Hawthorne are on the march again. It's a 1st down and 10 for them. You see Keith Pouncey coming in motion, and it looks like there's going to be a flag on the play. I think it's an early flag, if you ask me. Looks like an Olympian jumped offside, and they are going to mark it off against the Olympians. That takes the ball down to the 30-yard line, and we can't afford to give them yardage. They're going to earn enough on their own, and these penalties, mental penalties like this, as they're called, certainly hurt.
Another problem I saw watching game films, Leuzinger, very jumpy on the defensive line of scrimmage. They will do that.
So it's a 1st down and 5 from the 30-yard line now for the Hawthorne Cougars. Conway hands it off on the inside, and that's Ron Bolden, and he picks up great yardage on the play. It's enough for another 1st down.
Ron Bolden brings it down inside the 10-yard line.
They spot it inside the 10-yard line. 18-yard pickup for Ron Bolden. Makes it a 1st and goal to go with 9 minutes, 22 seconds left in the 1st half. Hawthorne already leading by a score of 7-6, and they're on the march, threatening the Olympian end zone once again. Conway brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's got Brett Floyd and in the backfield, and they keep it on the ground. So Brett Floyd picks up about 2 yards on the carry.
On the play for the Olympians.
Defense!
Number 74 just put here.
Defense!
Hawthorne threatening here again with 8:52 and counting in the 2nd quarter.
Defense!
Makes it a 2nd down and goal for Hawthorne from the 7-yard line. And another touch here would really give them a commanding lead early in this ball game. So, 2nd down and goal from the 7-yard line. Once again, they come up to the line of scrimmage, and he hands off on the inside. And he's going to be stopped right there for no gain. That was Ron Bolden, the carrier for the Cougars.
Hawthorne showing a lot of offense here in the early stages of the game. Alex asked Coach Casillas about that. They have not been a first-half team in many of their games this year, but tonight they're playing real well offensively.
And we see Coach Carnes pacing the sideline back and forth. He has to have a bit of concern right now as his team, his defense is being threatened once again. Third and goal from the 7-yard line. Conway dropping back the pass. There's the pursuit. It's excellent. And that's going to be, and they scored a touchdown. They scored a touchdown. Conway to Ron Bowden. Excuse me, Tyrone Norman. From here it looked like Ron Bowden. 7-yard TD pass from Curtis Conway to Tyrone Norman. And that was deep in the corner. It looked mighty close to being out of bounds to me, folks. But the referee says it's good. And you hear that old barnyard chant from the crowd as they show their disagreement with the call.
Juan Banks was the defender on that play, and he just let Norman get on the outside. Norman did some fancy footwork, kept his tiptoes in on the line, and eventually came up with a diving catch for 6 points. Here comes the kick, Eddie Clark.
There's the extra point attempt, and it's no good. It's no good. So we're even on failed extra point attempts now. However, Hawthorne leads by a score of 13-6 with 7 minutes, 48 seconds left in the half. What must the Olympians do to regain control of this ball game, Corey?
It's just plain and simple. As you see the touchdown pass here, looks very close there, but the referees were a lot closer than we are. It's very simple. Leuzinger's got to start playing some defense. They have got to shut down this Hawthorne offense, running and passing. Conway dominating the game with his Hawthorne offense, and Leuzinger's got to have a big drive here.
Well, we see their dangerous return man, Richie Jacobs, back along with Damon Whitmore. And, of course, Richie Jacobs is capable of breaking one at any time. This is going to be Damon Whitmore that handles it, and he steps in the end zone, so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Again, I don't understand that call. Unless that's a high school rule, it would appear that the man could advance the ball if he wanted to, and it appears that Damon Whitmore wanted to, and they signal no that he couldn't. Or I should say Richie Jacobs, rather. So the Olympians go on offense with 7 minutes, 47 seconds left in the first half, trailing by a score of 13-7 from their own 20-yard line. And on the first down play, they keep it on the ground, and that's Damon Whitmore. And Whitmore, once again, was close to breaking one. Picks up 7 yards on that play. Should make it a 2nd down and 3 from about the 27-yard line.
Tackle to tackle. Leuzinger still running the ball very well at the middle of that Hawthorne defense. Hawthorne probably expecting more of an outside game.
We know, of course, that Hawthorne is vulnerable to the run. A couple of weeks ago, we watched Santa Monica run the ball continuously against them all night with a great deal of success. Let's see what the Olympians do here on a 2nd down and 1. They keep the ball on the ground, and they pick up the first down. That's Henry Benz with the carry.
Speaking of Santa Monica, Rufus, Santa Monica will be here next week, and so will we. Channel 60, Santa Monica at Leuzinger. Another great game, another very good team in this Bay League. And the Bay League has got to be one of the better divisions in the whole southern section of the CIF. Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Leuzinger and Hawthorne.
There's excellent talent from top to bottom in the league, as we can tell by the standings, where you've got 4 teams within a game of being in first place. Once again, the Olympians drop back. Here's a pass to number 21, Richie Jacobs, and he's brought down on the far sideline.
Dangerous play there. What Richie Jacobs should have did was just fall down. Instead, he tried to get away from the hold, and that just left him up open, able for Cougars to just attack him.
These short passes into the flat are going to mean one of two things. Either the Hawthorne defense is going to get smart and pick one off and run it in for a touchdown, or they're going to get sucked up and Leuzinger will go deep on them.
It's a 2nd down and 6 from the 38-yard line for the Olympians. Notice, gentlemen, out there's Quan Banks. He's their deep threat. And Odom is going to be dropped for a loss. Back at his own 34-yard line.
That's exactly what the Cougars were working on Wednesday when Channel 60 sports crew went over to Hawthorne High School. They were working on that specific play. They see Odom come around and try to go on his own, and they were hitting their own teammates real hard. So both coaches know what to look out for in the opposition, and they've been practicing all week, and now they get a chance to display it on the field.
You know a team is pumped up when they're beating each other up at practice. Usually practice you have to hit to keep the coaches happy, but you don't go after each other, and they were really hitting when we saw them this week at practice.
And we hear some folks in the stands hollering for the Leuzinger offensive line to give them a little more protection. Right now they're in the shotgun formation. The snap was low, but he's going to have the time to get it away, and he's going to throw it short. It's going to bring up a fourth down play for the Olympians and an obvious punting situation for them right now. And the Olympian offense, although they've got 6 points on the board, have not yet, I don't think you can say, really gotten untracked.
Yeah, Steve Carnes can't be too happy with the offense, and especially the way Hawthorne's offense is running. Right now, 5:15 to go in this second quarter, and Hawthorne's going to get the ball back with plenty of time to mount a long drive. And that's exactly what Casillas would like to do, eat up the clock, and they get some points with very little time remaining in the first half.
And here's the Olympian punt. It's a high but short punt, and it's going to drop at about the 35-yard line, spotted finally at the 40-yard line. It took a Hawthorne bounce, a hit at the 37 and bounced back to the 40, finally down by the Olympians.
Rufus, you were bold enough in the pregame to pick the Olympians. I did too, but I wasn't on camera. Are you worried now?
Just a little bit, and I'll tell you why, because right now, Hawthorne has control of the ball game on offense and defense, and that concerns me just a little bit.
Exactly right.
Of course, Alex, on the other hand, picked Hawthorne, so I'm sure right now he must be feeling
He's got a big smile on his face.
From the 41-yard line, it's a first down and 10 for Hawthorne to keep the ball on the ground. There's Dean Dunbar. He's got a lot of room. Ooh! And he's finally tripped up. Who was that? That was Tyrone Scott. Tyrone Scott kind of reached out and threw him off stride with one hand. Otherwise, you're looking at a short touchdown there, which may have been an early one of the nails in the coffin for the Olympians. Tyrone Scott, he saved a big play there.
Timeout, Leuzinger.
Yeah, we don't want to make the situation seem too dire because it is awfully early. But yeah, if he runs for a touchdown right there with 4 minutes to go in the half, and they go up by 2 touchdowns, that's worrisome for a coach in the locker room at halftime.
And Carnes has finally seen enough. He's called the timeout, and here we see it right here. You'll see Tyrone Scott get a hand on him there and just throw him off stride enough, take him off his feet. But as I was about to say, Coach Carnes has seen enough of this. He's called timeout on defense. He's gone out. Alex, what's he telling us guys right now?
Right now, what he has to be telling these guys is don't let the Cougars get by you. Once they get by you, they're gone. There's daylight, and if it's not for Tyrone Scott there to get a hold of the hip, he grabbed the hip of the rusher and threw him off balance. So that's what saved 6 points right there. It almost ended the first half in the Cougar lopsided victory there. It only took half a game.
Sound advice for any defense. Don't let the other team get by you.
That's it.
And Steve Carnes is an intelligent man. That's probably just what he said.
Well, of course, he's going for his 40th victory in 4 years here at Leuzinger. They keep the ball on the ground once again, handing it off to Brent Floyd. And Floyd goes over the left guard for about 4 yards. Makes it a second down and 6 for Hawthorne now.
I'm amazed for teams that run as much as they do, and they had to have been watching each other all year, that the tackle-to-tackle running is doing so well. Both teams getting big yardage up the middle.
Well, let's face it, Curtis Conway is a passing threat, and you've got to give him some respect for that. If you start to over-pursue the running game, he's just going to drop back and pop a long one on you. And it's very hard to defend a guy that's equally adept at passing as he is at running. It's a second down and 6 for Hawthorne from losing a 32. Conway goes over the middle and it's incomplete. Intended for, that looks like Eric Tolbert. It was.
Nearly intercepted by Manny Gonzalez, the linebacker. Looked like it went right through his hands. He jumped up and down, thought maybe he should have had that one.
That'll make it a third down and 6 now from the 32-yard line for Hawthorne. There are 3 minutes, 53 seconds left in the first half. I'm sure Coach Carnes wants to control the damage right here. And, of course, Goy Casillas on the other side wants to get some more points on there. You can't get enough points. Conway dropping back the pass now. He's going to be blindsided. He gets the pass off, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. That's Juan Banks. That's Juan Banks. He's got some room. All right. That was Juan Banks. And we lost our camera for a moment, folks. That for the moment kills the Hawthorne drive. And you see Carnes out there getting in the action. He is giving some back slaps to his #1 defensive back. That's his 6th interception of the year, Quan Banks. Quan the Bomb.
You talked about him in the pregame show. Got a great knack for where the ball is.
Call it.
Here you see him jump in front of the receiver, and he's off to the races down the left sideline. And the tackle made by Curtis Conway.
You see Zach Odom dropping back the pass, and it's caught. That's number 82. And number 82 is for the Olympians. That was Jeff Loudon on the reception. Folks, we're excited as you are. I think if you see on the replay, however, that pass would appear to have been intended for Richie Jacobs, and somehow or another, Jeff Loudon got in the pattern, made the reception, picked up good yardage, and it's a 1st down and 10 for the Olympians from the Hawthorne 26-yard line. There's 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the first half.
The crowd is back in the game.
They keep the ball on the ground, and that's Tim Camillo. Tim Camillo, and he's out near another 1st down. Tim Camillo picks up 9 yards on the play, moves the ball down to approximately the 16-yard line.
Turnovers, #1 most important statistic in football. The play before that interception, Conway almost threw it away. He's got to keep his passes down, and I'm sure Casillas is going to talk to him about that. You can't give the ball away to a good team like Leuzinger.
And I'm sure the Olympians don't want to turn over here. Say 2nd and 1 from the 17-yard line. We got flags on the play. Jeff Loudon, it would appear the wide receiver, missed the count. So what was a 2nd down and 1 from the 17-yard line now becomes a 2nd down and 6 from the 22-yard line. However, I still think it's a fine time for the Olympians to stay with the air attack.
Well, now Coach Goy Casillas must be going crazy there because you don't know what Odom is going to do. Will he go to the air or will he hand it off to Camille?
Well, he keeps it himself, and he's going to be sacked on the play. So it brings up a 3rd down. Looks like he lost about 2 yards on the play.
On every play there, defensively, I see a defender, a lineman, getting on Odom. Even though he doesn't have the ball, they're right near him. So that's what they're looking for. If Odom has a leather ball in his arm, and he's going down.
Here you see the replay.
Just twirl him around and get him dizzy and hit him hard.
So it's a 3rd down and 7 from their own 23-yard line for the Olympians. They're trying to keep this drive going. Odom drops back the pass, and it's on the ground. They're going to rule it a fumble. I think one official is going to rule it, and they do. They do. Once again, a Cougar drive comes up short. They had advanced the ball down to the 17-yard line. However, they couldn't go any further. And with 1 minute 47 seconds left in the first half, the Hawthorne defense has risen to the occasion, and now their offense comes on the field once again.
Well, number 9, Alan Crenshaw put the noose on the neck of Odom, gave him the hangman play, clothesline tackle, and just forced a fumble.
Corey, what does a turnover like that do to the spirit of an Olympian team that was on the move?
Well, it really hurts them because they had just gotten the ball back. And they were down to the 17, as you said, and then to give it right back when they could have gotten back into the game with at least a field goal. Now you've given the ball back. Hawthorne may not score, but the momentum is with Hawthorne going into the locker room, leading 13-6 at this point. And again, as I said, turnovers, important statistic. Turnovers are also symbolic of a good defense, a good pressure on Zach Odom there, hitting him from behind.
And on that last carry, Ron Bolden picked up 9 yards on the carry, makes it a 2nd down and 1 from the Hawthorne 32-yard line. Conway drops back to pass. He's going to be pursued. He lets it go. Ooh! What could have been another interception for Quan Banks. He fell down on the play. And he was the closest man to the ball.
I can see it from here. Goy Casillas cajoling Curtis Conway not to throw the ball up like that in the middle of the field, as we just talked about.
We're down to 43 seconds left in the first half of what has been a well-played contest. However, in my estimation, thus far, Hawthorne has been able to maintain the offensive and defensive momentum, and consequently, they lead by a score of 13-6. It's still a 2nd down and 1 for Hawthorne from their own 32-yard line. This time to keep it on the ground, and it's going to be awfully close. I think he picked up the yardage, but we'll have to see what the referee signals.
Well, the crowd is taking on something that has been made popular by Darryl Strawberry here. Oral Hershiser made it real popular in the World Series, and now the crowd is saying, Conway. So they must want Conway just as bad as the Olympians do.
Curtis Conway is answering him, Alex, on the field with his play. He's played very well so far.
Of course, as Alex was referencing Darryl Strawberry, we've seen that happen to players like Strawberry and other superstars when they're in opponent stadiums. It's an attempt to unrattle them. Once again, they keep the ball on the ground, and this time he's hit very hard by the Olympian defenders. And that will probably be the last play of the first half as we wind down.
Goy Casillas happy to let the clock run out. He's not going to go for any big bombs at this point because he's ahead. And I'll be honest with you, listening to him talk this week, he's very happy to be up, even if it's only by 7 points. He didn't want to do anything to blow that lead. He's very happy with this, I think, as far as how the game's gone so far in the first half.
And so after one half, we've got a score of Hawthorne Cougars visiting at Olympic Stadium, leading the Leuzinger Olympians by a score of 13-6 in a game that you would have to candidly admit that they have thus far dominated. Alex, some halftime comments.
Well, from what I can see, the Olympians sure must be happy, like Corey said, to be up on top, because in the past 3 weeks at Rolling Hills, they were supposed to run all over Rolling Hills. What happened at halftime? They were tied 7-7. Last week against Beverly Hills, they were supposed to be a little bit more competitive, but what happens? They're down by 1 point at halftime, 7-6. So right now, I'm sure they got a lot of insurance up there with the 13-6 advantage, and who knows, the second half is going to be just as wild, just as crazy and emotional. So once you all stay with us, you'll get another half of exciting high school football.
Right here on Channel 60. So for Mike Korotowski and Alex Manila, I'm Rufus Washington. We'll let you enjoy the halftime festivities, and we'll see you right back here at the second half of this most exciting South Bay contest between the Hawthorne Cougars and the Leuzinger Olympians. Enjoy the halftime show, folks.
We're going to get some statistics, I guess, first half.
He may be going to save it.
Man, boy, now everybody's doing a good job, boy. You guys. I think without a doubt it took 3 of us tonight. Huh? Actually, without a doubt it took 3 of us. And we're back, folks, for the second half of this exciting contest between the Hawthorne Cougars and the Leuzinger Olympians. In the first half, we saw the visiting Cougars of Hawthorne take a 13-6 lead on a touchdown run by Curtis Conway and a touchdown pass by Curtis Conway. The Olympians got their 6 points on a run by Zach Odom. However, the momentum, as we said at the close of the first half, was definitely on Hawthorne's side. However, the Olympians will be receiving to start the second half. Let's see if they can get something going. Richie Jacobs takes the kickoff, and he comes up the middle. He's got a hole. He's still on his feet, and he runs over one man. Richie Jacobs with a fine second half kickoff return to get the Olympian effort underway.
Rufus, I don't know if there's any way this game could exceed the expectations of this last week, but I think it has. It's a great football game, hard-hitting. Leuzinger's not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Like Alex mentioned at the beginning of the game, they got the kickoff now to start the second half. What they need is a good, sustained drive. Even if they only get 3 out of it, they need a drive. They need to show that their offense is ready to play in the second half.
Zach Odom completed 6 of 7 in the first half for 78 yards. Let's see what he can do in the second half.
come out in the second half keeping the ball on the ground. That was Henry Benz. And Benz takes it out to about the 44-yard line. They started at the 45, give Henry 5 on that carry. Makes it a second down and 5 from the 45 for the Olympians.
45-yard line.
Well, we just seen another rush play, keeping it on the same subject, rushing-wise. Hawthorne has the advantage, 198 yards on the ground, while the Olympians have rambled up 148.
Enemy have your autograph. You can do it, guys!
So it's a second down and 5 for the Olympians from the 45-yard line. And once again, they keep the ball on the ground and stop for no gain. It'll be a second down for the Cougars, for the Olympians from their own 45-yard line.
Number 11, Brandon Smith. It'll be third down, still 5.
Third down and 5. Big play for the Leuzinger Olympians, although getting near the midfield stripe, you wonder if they wouldn't go for it on fourth down anyway.
So, a big third down play for the Olympians as we open the second half. There's 10 minutes left in the third quarter. And Zach Odom starts to run. He brings it down. He's got the first down. He goes around left side. And he's got some room on the sideline. And Odom takes it down to the 25-yard line. A big third down conversion for the Olympian offense. And that's the momentum builder for them.
The Olympians only needed 4 yards, and they ended up getting like 24 yards. So what Odom did was, he saw that he didn't have a receiver open, and he took it upon himself, carried all the momentum on his shoulders, and he led the Olympians up the field. He got a good block here, as you're going to see that he takes it up himself, over near the Cougar sideline. Richie Jacobs lays a death-defying hit right there, and gives him the extra yardage.
And it's a first down and 10 for the Cougars from the 23. And Zach Odom is hit from behind by number 11 for Hawthorne. And it's going to be dropped for about a 5-yard loss. That was Brandon Smith on the hit. And we've seen the Olympians move the ball well between the 20s, but unsuccessful in getting it in the end zone.
Zach Odom did very well just to hold on to the ball. A vicious hit by the Hawthorne defender.
Brandon Smith, Rufus. He just penetrated that offensive line right there and just went right through, kept rushing, and had Odom by the waist, and wasn't about to let him go.
So on a first and 15, they call it, from the 28-yard line. And we've got a flag on the play. And once again, that's a mental penalty against the Olympians. It's going to make it now a second down and 20 for them. When I just said first down and 15, I was reading the scoreboard, which was incorrect. We should have read second and 15. And of course, now with the 55-yard penalty, makes it a second and 20 from the 33-yard line. The Olympians desperately need to get something going here. And they keep it on the pitch out. And on the pitch out, it's going to pick up good yardage. It won't be enough for the first down, but it certainly gets back some of the yards they lost, and that was number 12, Damon Whitmore.
I hate to harp on a point, but Damon Whitmore has got to get the football more in the second half if Leuzinger wants to keep drives like this alive. He's not being used, I don't think, as effectively as he could be by Steve Carnes. Short screen passes or runs around the end like that, he's awesome.
Well, Whitmore did have the week off last week when they beat Torrance 33-0. He did not play offensively, played a little defensively in the game. Before that, he was used sparingly also. So Camilo has had to take over.
And it's a big third down play for the Olympians from the 12-yard line. And it looks like he may have picked up the first down. Let's see where they spotted though. And they show 4. I don't think there's any doubt about it that the Olympians are going for it here. A very questionable spot to say the least. Makes it a fourth down and less than 1 for the first down. And the Olympians have no choice here but to go for it. There's 7 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third quarter. The Olympians are trailing by a score of 13-6 in a game in which they were heavily favored. And they do keep it on the ground. That's Tim Camilo, and it looks like he may have gotten it on second effort alone.
Appears to be very, very close.
If anything, the nose of the ball is just crossed.
We're calling for the measurement.
Another one of those left foot, right foot spots. Depends on where the referee saw Tim Camillo go down. Good defense there, as you see on the replay, by the Hawthorne defenders coming up through the middle and hitting Tim Camillo actually behind his line of scrimmage. But second effort, as you said, Rufus, may have gotten the first down, and it's going to be close. Steve Carnes holding his breath right now, Rufus?
Oh, I'm certain that he is, as we attempt to zoom in and get a close shot of this measurement.
They didn't make it.
They did. And it was inches, just inches short.
So they say football is a game of inches, and right there, Leuzinger about 3 inches short.
The drive stalls at the 12-yard line of Hawthorne.
See the game better here.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's a first down and 10 for Hawthorne from their own 12-yard line as they kill what was a promising Olympian drive.
Conway has completed 3 of 7 in the first half for 34 yards only.
Keith Pouncer goes in motion to the right side of the field. And there's the snap to hand it off on the inside to Ron Bolden. And he said, oh, there's a fumble on the play. But the Olympians spotted too late, and it's recovered by Eric Tolbert.
Will retain possession.
So what could have been a big turnover for Hawthorne, or a big turnover in favor of the Olympians, allows Hawthorne to keep possession of the ball as they recover Ron Bolden's fumble.
With a great defensive stand on that 4th and 1, Old Lady Momentum may have just put on a Cougar jersey, and Old Lady Mo's switching jerseys a lot this game.
He's going back and forth, but most of the games has been on the Hawthorne side of the field. Once again, Bolden was stacked up for a moment. He breaks out of the crowd and picks up enough yardage for the first down, and that clock continues to run. We're down now to 6 minutes, 38 seconds left in the third quarter. And the ball's at the 27-yard line. It's a first down and 10 for the Olympians. Excuse me, for the Cougars.
Well, Bolden trying to rake up some more yardage there in only the first half. 8 carries. He chalked up, I should say, 46 yards. But Conway was the leader rushing-wise. 3 carries, 63 yards.
And it's a first down and 10 from the 27-yard line. And it looks like it's going to be offside this time against Hawthorne.
5 yards.
That'll back them up 5 yards to the 22-yard line, make it a first down and 15. And as this clock continues to run, guys, it becomes less and less an ally of the Leuzinger Olympians and more friend to the Hawthorne Cougars.
Still plenty of time, but it's what's happened in the first half and this first half of the third quarter that's got to worry Steve Carnes. His offense hasn't played real well, and Hawthorne's offense is running the ball at will.
And it's a first and 15 from the 22. They keep the ball on the ground once again. And they pick up about 4 yards on the carry. Let's call it 3 yards. That was Ron Bolden, who's basically been the workhorse for him tonight. Makes it a second down and 12 now for the Hawthorne Cougars from their own 25-yard line. Folks, we've got 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter in this crosstown rivalry in which the visiting Hawthorne Cougars have all but dominated Leuzinger tonight, and they lead by a score of 13-6, and the score doesn't really tell the story of the domination of Hawthorne in this game tonight. And there's a pass over the middle. It's completed, and he's brought down by Richard Jacobs. Another first down, however. That was Keith Pouncer on the receiving end of that Curtis Conway pass.
Curtis Conway may not throw a whole bunch, but when he does throw, the passes are right on the mark. And his running game, as you see on the replay, a beautiful catch and a beautiful throw. His running game sets up the few passes that he does throw. You have to respect the run first, and that puts the defenders at a disadvantage when the Curtis Conway decides to throw the football.
And we've got an injured Olympian on the field, so we'll go back to Alex once again for some of his commentary on what we've seen thus far in the third quarter, while we've got a break in the action. Alex?
Well, from what I can see of counting the players defensively, that's Tyrone Scott, their outstanding defensive man, that hit the ball carrier on that play head on with everything he had. The shoulders were squared, the helmet was tucked in, and he ended up coming up short on that tackle. He's getting up slowly, little by little. You see a 1-9 on the back of his uniform.
Why don't you recap some of the action for us, Alex, in this third quarter? What have the Olympians got to do to get back into this contest?
Well, one of the basic things they have to do is They have to fundamentally execute the easy play. I mean, they're coming up by inches. I thought they were going to go with Odom doing the quarterback sneak because he usually is effective and he usually 95% of times gets that necessary yardage. So what we're seeing is the ball going back and forth once again, and the Olympians have to sustain and do what they can possibly offensively to get something rallied up. They need something shot up into their arms to just get them emotionally hyped up.
Right now, Hawthorne has possession. It's first and 10 from the 40. That's Brent Floyd, and there should be a flag on that play. I don't see one. There was a clear clipping by Hawthorne. It's not called, however, and he advances the ball into Leuzinger territory. Folks, I'm excited like you all are. I can barely talk here. They're at the Olympian 47-yard line. It's another first and 10 with 5 minutes and moving to go in the third quarter.
Whether it's Dunbar, Pouncey, Conway, a lot of weapons Hawthorne has, and they're showing them all tonight against Leuzinger.
Once again, they keep it on the ground with Brent Floyd, and he's a bull of a running back. Reminds me a lot of Frank Ironhead Hayward. He's short, squatty, heavy, well-built, and a tough guy to bring down. He picks up 2 yards on that carry, makes it a second down, and let's call it about 8 yards for the first.
I think Ironhead's got about 100 pounds on him, but other than that, yes, you're right. The same type of runner, you're exactly right.
And the Olympian crowd takes up the chant of defense. They want their Leuzinger defense to rise to the occasion. Say second down and 9 from the Leuzinger 46. Conway drops back to pass. He rolls right. He's being pursued. And they're going to sack him. The defense rises to the occasion. The momentum from the crowd carried over. And they sack Conway for a 4-yard loss back to midfield. Making a third down coming up for the Olympians now.
Jim Camilo, number 24, played the part of the spoiler and the stopper. He stopped Conway deep in his tracks. He didn't fall for that big arm pass motion that everybody saw. He just stayed with the target. He hit him, bullseye, and he came up on the second part of the play.
They spot the ball at the 48-yard line, makes it a third down and 12. And this is the second and third big third down play we've seen. They go across the middle and they complete it, and they're going to pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. Once again, the Olympian defense does not rise to the task when it must, and it misses another key opportunity to stop Hawthorne on a big third and long play. And I said it in the first half, Corey and Alex, and I'll say it again. You cannot continually let them get off the hook on third and longs. They've had third and 10s, third and 15s, and Hawthorne has converted. And if you do that, eventually you're going to get bit.
Kudos to the Hawthorne offense for making those big plays, but you're exactly right. When you've got them down like that, you've got to stop them. Just another one of the big drives of this game, but this is a huge drive. Hawthorne goes up by 2 touchdowns this late in the game. It's very tough to come back from.
And on the play, as we were momentarily distracted, we see Ron Bowden being stopped for a very short gain on the play.
And second down, in fact, lost by half a yard. Second down, 10. The ball at the 37-yard line.
And we see some crowd control being exercised over on the Olympian side of the field as things are getting a bit testy here. But I think this is in the best interest of everybody. Once again, Curtis Conway drops back the pass, and his pass falls incomplete.
Curtis Conway's pass intended for number 6, Norman.
I think part of the crowd control is being done by Curtis Conway. This side of the field has gotten awfully quiet since Hawthorne is driving here late in the third quarter.
Once again, the Olympian defense is faced with a big third down play. It's a third down and 10 from the Olympian 36-yard line for the Hawthorne Cougars. And I think Curtis Conway signaling for a timeout here. Of course, this timeout will also be to the benefit of the Leuzinger defense, as they've got to come up with some answer, some formula, some trick, some method, whatever it takes, if they want to win this contest, to stop Hawthorne and to stop this drive. I'm mighty afraid if they give up too many more points, the game may get out of reach, although we've got plenty of time.
Just like to take a moment here during this timeout to thank everybody who's working for Channel 60 Sports Tonight. Executive producer down in the truck, Mike Galarza, and a great crew here helping Alex and Rufus and I look good, and just a great football game so far. 2:29 to go in the third quarter. What surprised you most so far, Rufus, about this football game?
I think to me it's been clearly Hawthorne's domination. Coming into the game, I felt like the Olympians were clearly a better team. We knew it was a crosstown rivalry and records meant nothing, but I thought the Olympians had them beat at all the skill positions. However, Hawthorne is just dominated. And like I say, the score doesn't tell the story. This has been complete domination by Hawthorne thus far. So here we have a big third down play. 3rd and 11 from the 36-yard line. Conway drops back to pass. The Ghostbusters is broken up by Conway. And the defense rises to the occasion at last. Tron Banks, the fine defensive back. What appeared to have been a sure reception. And I'll tell you what, if he misses that.
You want to talk about confidence in your offense? I don't see a punter coming onto the field right now for the Hawthorne Cougars. It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 11 from the 36-yard line. That's confidence.
Well, we're here. We're seeing it. We're getting ready to make the call right now on 4th and 11. Hawthorne is going for it. They send Aaron Tolbert in motion. Conway is dropping back to pass. There's excellent pursuit on him. They've got the pursuit. Conway gets the pass off. It falls incomplete. The Olympians take over on downs at their own 36-yard line. What can you say? And the crowd gives the defense a rousing round of applause for what was an excellent defensive stand there.
Great pressure by the Leuzinger defense, again chasing Curtis Conway very deep into his own, actually past his own 50. Nowhere to throw that ball but out of bounds.
So with 2 minutes 17 seconds left in the third, the Olympians go on offense from the 36-yard line, 1st and 10. And that's Damon Whitmore, the man that Corey has said all night long, has to have possession of the ball in order for him to win.
I think Steve Carnes knows there's plenty of time. He can take this game back with one good drive, maybe go for the 2-point extra conversion, but he's not panicking yet. He's got too good a football team to panic, being down only by 7.
2nd down and 3 from the 43-yard line for the Leuzinger Olympians. They keep the ball on the ground once again, and there appears to be a fumble on the play. Let's see who's got it. Oh, Nelly, that could have been a close one there. There was a Leuzinger fumble. However, they do retain possession. Makes it a 3rd down and 1 at the 45-yard line for the Leuzinger Olympians.
When Alex and I called the game at Inglewood earlier this year, as you see the replay there, the fumble, Leuzinger made a lot of mistakes, but against a team like Inglewood, you can get away with them. But we both said that against a team like Hawthorne or Santa Monica, you're not going to be able to do that. They're too good to beat with turnovers.
Big 3rd down play for the Olympians here. On 3rd and 1, they hand it off to Henry Benz, and he gets the 1st down. A big 3rd down conversion for the Olympians. It appeared to have been Henry Benz. Actually, it was number 82 for the Olympians. And that was the new wrinkle.
10 yards to go at that point.
So it's a 1st down and 10 from the Hawthorne 48 for the Leuzinger Olympians with 36 seconds left in the quarter. There's a pass out in the flat, and it's caught by Tyrone Scott. And Tyrone Scott picks up, about 7 yards on the play. It'll make it a 2nd down and 3. And that may have been the last play of the 3rd quarter, folks.
6 yards.
This game is so good, Rufus. Here, see the pass to Tyrone Scott, puts a nice move, gets a couple extra yards. This game is so great. I might even pay to get in here today.
You and me too. You and me too. I mean, what excitement. We're down to the end. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. So after 3 quarters, folks, the score still stands the same. The Hawthorne Cougars visiting lead by a score of 13-6 over the hometown Leuzinger Olympians in what is shaping up as possibly one of the major upsets this year in Bay League football.
Great story on the Leuzinger defense today in the Los Angeles Times, and again, that's big incentive for Hawthorne. They've been not being ignored, but Leuzinger are the big boys on the block this year, and usually it's been Hawthorne that's come in as the better team. It's been Hawthorne rated higher. This year, Leuzinger rated very highly in the Los Angeles Times and the Daily Breeze. Southern section, the entire southern section, number 5. And Leuzinger High School getting a lot of credit this year for a great team, being 8-0 and all, but Hawthorne's playing right now like they're the number 1 rated team around.
Speaking of rankings there, that is very important for the Olympians. They're ranked number 2 in the CIF Division 2. A win tonight could put them up number 1 if Santa Barbara loses tonight.
All right, on the 2nd down and 3 from the Hawthorne 42-yard line, we see Odom dropping back the pass, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Tim Camilo. That'll bring up a big another 3rd down play for the Olympians. And folks, we're in the final quarter. We're getting close to do or die, now or never. This is it.
It's also when Steve Carnes has got to keep that confidence in his offense that they're going to be able to get the yardage, the big plays. Unnecessary, I believe, still this early in the 4th quarter.
Well, it's a big 3rd down play for him, and it's completed to Tyrone Scott. Woo! A game-saving, a touchdown-saving tackle by Rob Bowden. However, it pushes the Olympians inside the 20-yard line, and the crowd once again gets excited. But now the question is, can the Olympians get the ball in the end zone? They've been in this position so many times tonight, and so many times they've come up short.
Here you see the replay. Beautiful throw by Zach Odom right over the middle. And an indefinite touchdown-saving tackle there.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Leuzinger from the Hawthorne 15-yard line. Odom drops back the pass. This is batted up in the air, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted. No. Yes, it is. And it is. Oh, man. Oh, and the Leuzinger crowd falls definitely silent, boy. They're quiet as a church mouse over here now, folks. Once again, another Olympian drive. Here we see the tip pass right here. And that was Curtis Conway, Mr. Everything for Hawthorne, comes up with the big play.
Ball thrown a little bit high, and a lot of Hawthorne defenders around on the old tip drill. Curtis Conway picked it up, and now he's back on the field as quarterback.
So it's a 1st and 10 for them. And there was a loss of yardage on that play for Hawthorne. I think that the Olympian defense is getting just a little bit testy now and appears to be rising to the occasion. Makes it a 2nd and 13 for Hawthorne from the 8-yard line from their own 8-yard line. Folks, there are 10 minutes, 30 seconds left in this contest. And on the 2nd and 13 play, they keep it on the ground once again. And Ron Bolden is stopped for little or no gain. As we see the Leuzinger defense become very inspired here, Alex. They seem to know they're challenged, and they aren't going to get many more opportunities. And they're trying to rise to the occasion one more time for the home crowd.
The Olympians needed that 4th and 11th stop late in the 3rd quarter. It looked like it was going to be all paying off. But unfortunately for the Olympians, the Cougar had gotten away with a very low pass to turn things around.
And it's a 3rd and 12 for the Cougars now from their own 9-yard line. They keep it on the ground once again. It's going to be stopped for little or no gain. And I'll guarantee you they'll punt this time.
I'm frankly a little bit surprised. Troy Casillas, 3 runs straight up the middle. They have been having some success, but they've got to open it up a little bit more than that. It seems like he's getting too conservative with 9.5 minutes left in a football game deep in your end zone. You got to try to move the ball at least to get in better punting position.
Well, we see, is that Eddie Corn, Alex, going back to punt?
Eddie Corn on the line of the end zone. Let's see what the Olympians have. Maybe a trick play.
And he's a real boomer. I'm sure the Olympians will be trying to get in there to block this. There was some movement, but no flag on the play. Richard Jacobs is going to get a chance to return it. And Jacobs starts upfield. He beats the first wave. He's got the sideline, and he's finally brought down field, but he's over into Hawthorne territory. So the Olympians will be starting from the 34-yard line of Hawthorne with 8 minutes, 51 seconds left in the contest as they try to put some scoring points on the board.
Watch Richie Jacobs put this move on Keith Sneed and Ramon De La Cruz. And then run up the right-hand sideline. Great move to get an extra 10 yards on the kick return. As you said again, Leuzinger in Hawthorne territory, but they haven't been able to score as of yet.
While we've got a moment, guys, due to an injured Olympian on the field, let's speculate a little bit here. Suppose the Olympian scores. Do you go for the tie on Angel Andrade's foot, or do you think that Carnes is going to go for the 2 points and try to get ahead in this ball game?
Well, when we had that little returning of the helmets and the jerseys, I went up to Carnes' room and he told me just that. I go, what if it came down to winning by 2 points and winning by 1, tying it up? What would you do? He said 9 out of 10 times he will go for the win, instead of a tie. And that's what he told me from the beginning. We're just going for the win. So whatever it takes to win, that's what the Olympians will do. They need to score this. In my point of view, I think this is do or die for the Olympians. There's plenty of time up there on the board for a turnover or interception. But this may very well be the Olympians' last time to be this close and have to score.
That was Damon Whitmore shaking up on the play. We see him coming off the field under his own steam. However, if he's got to be out of that game for a while, that's certainly a blow to the Olympian offense. They started out by keeping the ball on the ground. That's Henry Benz. He's got some running room, and he's still running. He's still running inside the 10-yard line. Inside the 10-yard line was Henry Benz on a big carry. And it's a 1st and goal. Let's watch the replay. We see Zach Odom handing off to Benz. Benz is breaking tackles left and right. Finally brought down at the 9-yard line. But before I get too excited, guys, I've seen the Olympians here 3 times tonight. We're going to have to see if they can do what it takes. Once Zach Odom decides to keep it himself, it's going to be awfully close.
With Leuzinger getting down here, I'll go back to what you were talking about the 2-point conversion. Coach Carnes has got to think ahead. With a tie and a win next week, he still wins the division. He still wins the Bailey. You wonder if maybe ego and pride are going to give way to pragmatic thinking, and he'll go for the sure extra point in the tie.
Well, here it is, folks. They're at the 1-yard line. This is the 2nd and goal play from the 1-yard line. And it's a touchdown! It's a touchdown! Woo! Folks, it was the quarterback sneak. That was Zach Odom. Zach Odom from the 1-yard line. And the Olympian crowd has its moment of excitement.
And they're going for the extra point. Angel Andrade out there, so with 7:42 to go, Coach Carnes is gambling that he's going to get the ball back and get another chance to score, Rufus.
Well, let's just say Angel Andrade is out there. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Here's the snap. There's the kick. It's good. And we've got a tie ball game, folks. We've got a tie ball game. Coach Carnes fools us all. He goes for the tie.
This is a great football game. Put me down on record. This is an excited crowd, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, as I have ever seen for a high school football game. These people are pumped up on both sides. A huge crowd on the Hawthorne side also.
Pressure has not been the key thing at that moment. If we could see Angel Andrade put uprights again, I doubt it. But just remember what he does. There he goes. Score of Odom going in from the 1-yard line and scoring on quarterback sneak. But he puts a lot of pressure on that junior kicker. He missed the first time, he went out and he tied the ball game. Now, let's see if he can get it deep enough and make some trouble for the Cougars.
Well, with 7 minutes, 42 seconds left, we've got a tie ball game. There's Angel Andrade's kick. It's a fairly good kick as well, but it ankles to the out of bounds, and they'll back him up 5 more yards. I I think, as you were saying, Alex, it is important that Andrade get a good deep kick, and hopefully there's good coverage on special teams that will keep Hawthorne deep in its own territory and give that Leuzinger offense another opportunity.
Well, by virtue of having the ball go out of bounds there, Angel Andrade's going to have to get the kick of his life because he's just been set back 10 more yards, so he's going to have to kick it even farther and put all his heart into it.
In all fairness to Angel Andrade, that's only a 5-yard penalty, Alex. He's back 5 more yards. But, as we say, he doesn't have the strongest foot, unfortunately, so it will be an extra test for him.
All the newspaper stories, all the practice, all the talk, all the rivalry coming down to just over 7 minutes of football with the score tied at 13. What a game. I have to say it again. What a game.
Like I say, folks, it's lived up to everything that we've expected it would be and more. And regardless of what happened, both of these teams have represented their schools very well tonight. We'll just have to wait and see. I think this is going to be 7 minutes and 42 seconds of the best football that we've seen. And there's a kickoff taken by Conway. You've got to get to him, and they do. They do. However, Hawthorne gets excellent field position. They get the ball at about the 33-yard line.
The two little guys for the Olympians, the two little hitmen, I call them. Well, realistically, number 20, Danny Al, the bowling ball with wheels, and the hitman, Thomas Gordon, were there to knock down the speedy, fast quarterback in Curtis Conway.
Oh, just a little.
So it's a first down and 10 from their own 36-yard line for the Hawthorne Cougars. Conway drops back to pass, and he's going to be sacked. That's a flag! That's a flag! That's a flag!
Oh, my!
That's a flag!
Oh, where's the flag? If that wasn't intentional grounding, I've never seen it. And no flag on the play, Rufus.
No flag on the play, folks, on what was obviously intentional grounding by Curtis Conway. And I'll say this here right now, the last thing I want to see is a game like this that's been so well played be decided by a poor call by the officials. And folks, what you just saw, make no doubt about it, the CIF can watch the tape, it was a poor call. Conway drops back to pass again. This time he goes over the middle, and then flags on the play. They're calling interference against Quan Banks. Pass was intended for Tyrone Norman.
No doubt about that one. Even these referees saw that one. Quan Banks hitting Norman very early. And of course, now you hear the Go Leuzinger cheer coming up behind us here on the Leuzinger side. Here you see the replay. Quan Banks coming in a little bit too early on the hit, and the flags fly.
So it's a first and 10 for Hawthorne from the 48-yard line. The interference call carries an automatic first down with it. There are 7 minutes left in the contest. Hawthorne has possession of the ball. The Olympian defense is seeking the hole here. Of course, they're looking to force a turnover as well. Conway drops back to pass. He goes over the middle. And that's Keith Falcon's favorite receiver. And he takes it down to the 30-yard line. So the Cougars are moving with the ball if the Olympians hope to win here. And of course, now coming into play becomes the foot of Eddie Corn, who we know is an excellent kicker, and we're getting pretty close to his range if they don't get it in the end zone.
Did the Saugus game earlier this year, watched Eddie Corn kick a 48-yard field goal. He's a legitimate long kicker, 40 yards plus, and he's also been starting for quite a few years, Alex.
And that was a school record, too.
So it's a first down and 10 from the Leuzinger 31-yard line for Hawthorne. They keep the ball on the ground to Brent Floyd, and he's going to be stopped after a pickup of about 3 yards on the play.
On the play for the Olympians.
Okay. Ask her if she's there.
Number 35, Manny Gonzalez.
The one thing I don't want to see after watching this game, after talking about it all week, is another tie. Hopefully someone will win this thing, because this is just too great a game to end in a tie.
Too bad there's no overtime either.
That's exactly right. I'd love to see it.
And of course, there's 6 minutes now left in the game. Once again, they keep the ball on the ground, and the Leuzinger defense smells it out. The a matter of fact, there was a loss of yardage on the play. It'll make it a third down play now for Hawthorne. Makes it a third down and about 10.
That's the guy I was telling you guys all about, number 61, the wild man for the Olympians, Jonas Woodring. They call him the Hurricane, and I'm sure he felt an impact there.
And of course, the Leuzinger crowd trying to rally their defense one more time to stop Curtis Conway and the awesome Hawthorne offense. It's a third down and 11 from the Leuzinger 32-yard line. Conway dropping back the pass. He goes over the middle. Oh, that's another flag.
Hate to see flags come into play late in a great game like this, but again, a legitimate call, a defensive interference there. You can't arrive before the ball does, and that's twice. They've done it on one drive. Here you'll see that it was a good call by the referees. Got there a little too early, and again, unfortunately, it was Quan Banks.
Inside the 20.
Well, I'm sure Coach Carnes is a little disappointed with the way it turned out, but certainly not with Quan Banks' effort. That's a matter of technique. He'll continue to work with the young man who I believe is a junior or sophomore, so he'll be back once again. In 5 minutes, 28 seconds, Conway is dropping back the pass again. This time it's in the flat. It falls incomplete, however.
You're exactly right about Coach Carnes thinking about Quan Banks. One thing you don't want to breed out of a player is aggressive play, and especially if you're a defensive back, you've got to go to that ball. He's just got to learn to time it a little bit better.
And it's a second down and 10 for Hawthorne now from the 16-yard line of the Leuzinger Olympians. There are 5 minutes, 20 seconds left, folks. The clock is really getting very low now. The Olympian defense is being put to the test. And of course, the Hawthorne offense as well is being put to the test as they seek to put enough points on the board to win this game. Conway drops back the pass. It goes in the flat. And it's broken up. And this time there's no flag. He went to the well one time too many. He tried him once, and he whipped him. He tried him twice, and he beat him. But on the third time, Quan Banks was equal to the task and broke up what was a certain touchdown.
Exactly right. Great play by Quan Banks, right on the Hawthorne receiver.
He had to redeem himself there, and there you see he goes back. Not much contact there. He just did his job and deflected the ball.
So now it's a third down and 10 for Hawthorne from the Leuzinger 16-yard line. Folks, we're seeing offense and defense at its best here. Number 83, Eric Tober, goes in motion around the left side. Conway fumbles, and it looks like it's recovered by the Olympians. It's recovered by the Olympians, boys. A big turnover. Oh, shit.
Manny Gonzalez, number 35. Manny Gonzalez, only the sophomore. 5'11", 190. A sophomore football player for the Olympians. The little guy rises to the occasion with 5 minutes and 12 seconds ticking on the clock. The Olympians take over. Conway carelessly butterfingers the ball, tops it up, and Gonzalez comes up with a recovery.
Back on him. Leuzinger up over the ball. First and 10, 4:56 and counting.
And the Olympians keep the ball on the ground, on the play. Timmy Camillo with the carry.
You got to wince when you see a turnover deep in the opponent's territory down on Leuzinger's 16-yard line. Leuzinger now with 4 minutes, just over 4.5 minutes to go, with a great chance to drive and maybe win this ball game.
Well, it's a game of turnovers, as we said. We saw most of them go against the Olympians tonight. However, when it counted the most, when time was running down, they were able to force a big turnover. And once again, that's Tim Camillo, with the carry, and he's going to be out close to a first down.
First down yardage. And left guard. On the stop for the first. Number 50.
We don't see an indication yet from the official. And they call it a first down for the Olympians. There are 4 minutes left in the contest, folks. We've got a tie ball game. What would you expect at this point in the game? It's a first down and 10 from the 30-yard line, from their own 30-yard line for the Leuzinger Olympians, as they seek to somehow pull this game out. Once again, Zach Oldham keeps it himself. And Zach picks up excellent yardage before he's driven back on the play.
Well, Zach Odom told me Thursday night when I called him up for an interview, Zach Odom told me that this game would be like playing their own team. They play the split six defense, they run the same type of offense, and he told me that it would all come down to the quarterback. It's all a matter of the veteran quarterback, 3-year varsity starter Conway against the rookie quarterback, Zach Odom.
And Odom picks up 7 yards on the carry. It's a 2nd down and 3 from their own 37-yard line. They keep it on the ground. That's Timmy Camillo. And Tim Camillo is going to be out close to a 1st down. But depending upon where they spot it.
Number 9, Alan Crenshaw. The ball is spotted just short of the 40-yard line.
We've got 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the contest, folks.
Gonna call for a measurement now on this play.
Guys, what can you say? What can you say? This has been one heck of a ball game. When I went down to halftime, there wasn't an empty seat in the house, and of course we predicted that. If you look on the Hawthorne side of the field, their stand is filled. They've got fans all along the fence. Folk from all over the area are here. They wanted to see this game.
It's always been a great neighborhood rivalry. Some of these people live just across the street from each other. Here we see the measurement. Just! That's got to be 2 inches short there. Great camera work by our Channel 60 crew.
I'm not sure. They're having to take a second look on this.
Well, they're getting the piece of paper out.
Matter of centimeters right now.
You can't get
And
any
they
closer
say
than
it's short.
that.
Folks, I've never seen that before. That was so close. The official took a slice of paper out of his pocket to see if it would go between the space of the yard marker and the football. Apparently it did. That's 1/8 of an inch or less.
Or less.
Or the size of a piece of grass out there.
So that makes it a big 3rd down and 1 for the Olympians.
You think they'll go for it if they don't make it on 4th down, Rufus?
I don't get paid to make those kind of calls, and I won't make that call. That's Steve Carnes' job, and I'm going to let him make the call. We'll see right here. This is a goal line defensive effort on the part of Hawthorne. I don't have any doubt that Zach Odom is going to keep it, and he gets the 1st down, and he breaks it. Zach Odom is still out in the open, and he gets more than enough for the 1st down. Zach Odom almost broke it for 6 points.
Alan Crenshaw was there to deny Odom of that privilege. Number 9, Alan Crenshaw for the Cougars just grabbed a hold of Odom's shoelaces, tripped them up, and what would have been at least a 45-yard touchdown.
This is a CIF number 2 rated drive. If they can score on this thing, it would be a great drive.
Well, we see why they're ranked number 1 in the South Bay. You got to rise. Odom drops back to pass, and he's going to be sacked. Once again from the blind side, that was Ron Bolden coming in for the tackle.
That was Alan Crenshaw once again. He's all over Odom.
With the loss of 9 on the play, it makes it a 2nd down and 19 for the Olympians from about the 38-yard line.
Clock running down almost to 2 minutes now in the game.
I think we're approaching the 2-minute warning right now. Well, there is no 2-minute warning in high school football, so we've got less than 2 minutes left in the contest. Leuzinger has possession, and right now they've got to be trying to get in position to do something. Once again, Zach Odom is sacked.
Zach Odom is dropped in the backfield for about a 2-yard loss.
Here, Hawthorne High School, I call a timeout right now. Defense is playing well. You've got to stop the clock because you're going to get the ball back.
19 yards to go.
And now it brings up a 3rd down and 20 for the Olympians. There's less than a minute and a half left in the contest. And the Olympians take a timeout.
Timeout, Leuzinger.
This is what it's come down to, folks.
1 minute, 26
There's 1 minute, 26 seconds left in the contest. We've got a tie ball game. 13 for the Hawthorne Cougars, 13 for the Leuzinger Olympians. Go ahead, Alex.
Sorry about that. I'm just going to bring up the classic shot right there that you can see on the field, other than that cheerleader there. The head coach that battled it out last year, Larry Reed for Hawthorne, defensive coordinator right now in the huddle there with his Cougars. and Coach Steve Carnes in his huddle with the Olympian. That's what was on the field last year at Hawthorne High School when they tied 21-21. Right now, we got Deja Vu tied 13-13.
I got to admit, I didn't think it would be nearly this close. I walked around all week saying Leuzinger and Hawthorne have played two of the same teams. Leuzinger has beaten both those teams a lot easier than Hawthorne. I thought it would be a minimum of a 10-point ball game. Hawthorne charged up tonight and have played an excellent football game, as have the Olympians.
Well, this is another big third down play for the Olympians. It's a third down and 20 from their own 39-yard line. They've got to get down to the 40-yard line of Hawthorne in order to keep this drive alive. They're coming from the shotgun, and Zach Odom has got it. He drops back to pass. He's got some running room. He's not going to make it, though. He's driven out of bounds on the play. However, well short of first down, but he does put them in a position where if they want to, they've got the opportunity to maybe go for it on fourth down.
Looks like they're going to punt the football. Jeff Loudon in.
Senior tight end Jeff Loudon.
Zach Odom right there, as you see on the replay, scrambling for his life. I don't think Carnes is stupid enough to try it, because if he does go for an attempt at an interception, would break their back. So what they're depending on is Loudon to kick the stuffing out of the football, make it bounce as far deep.
Because what we might see here is a short snap. No, they do punt it away, and Conway's under it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's deep. Hawthorne gets the ball deep in their own territory. Folks, it's a bit early to call, but I'd have to say I think that what we've seen is another classic tie. What would this be, the third tie in 4 years?
It sure would. A few years ago, they tied 14-14. Last year, 21-21. And right now, if God can permit it, with a minute and 4 seconds left, we might have another replay of another tie, 13-13.
I have to say that again. That's unbelievable. 3 ties in 4 years. These guys love to play each other.
And the thing about it, they were legitimate ties. You know, when Carnes went for the tie, there was plenty of time left in the game. He did, in fact, have possession, and, in fact, was driving. So I think that Carnes' decision earlier with about, what was it, 6 minutes to go in the game?
7 minutes to go.
7 minutes to go, yeah, 7:42 when he went for the tie. At that time was the right move to make.
Absolutely. He got the ball back like he thought he would, and they couldn't score on it. They had to punt the football away. Now Hawthorne, 52 seconds to go as we're in the middle of a timeout here. Long way to go in 52 seconds, Rufus.
And that's what I mean by a legitimate tie. He didn't play to keep from losing. He played strategy.
Exactly.
That was the right move to make at that time.
Exactly.
Well, just to inform you guys, just to be a little bit of a historian, in 1984, when I was graduating here, it was a 6-0 win that the Cougars pulled out. Okay, that was Mike Reddington, the quarterback there, hitting Sean Smith. So, and it carried into the next year, 1985, there was a 14-14 tie. Same guys, Reddington, Joe Martinez scored an 80-yard TD. In 86, the Olympians beat the Cougars 12-7. So that was just 86. And last year, you know the score, 21-21 tie.
There are 52 seconds left in the game, folks. And Hawthorne has the ball on the 6-yard line. They keep it on the ground. That's Ron Bolden. And he pushes the ball out about 6 more yards, takes it out to about the 12-yard line. Should make it a 2nd down and 4.
Vic Casillas, maybe he'll be a little bit happier than Steve Carnes will with a tie, because Steve Carnes has now got to play a very tough Santa Monica team next week, a team that beat the Hawthorne Cougars. So.
Exactly. And of course, the Olympian defense is hoping to force some kind of turnover here, any kind of turnover. Makes it a 3rd down and 2 with 16 seconds left in the contest. I'm not sure how many timeouts, if any.
Well,
the Cougars called timeout with 12 seconds left. And it's a 3rd down and 2. I don't know, it sure would be great to know if the Olympians had any timeouts left in this thing, because they've got a chance. They're only 12 seconds, folks, but 2 defensive holds gives Angel Andrade 1 shot at field goal and winning this thing. So it's still not over. You still can't declare how this thing is going to turn out yet, with 12 seconds left in it. However, it is a 13-13 tie. Hawthorne and Leuzinger in their 1988 crosstown matchup.
One thing we do know, game has lived up to every expectation anybody had for it. Two good football teams battling it out. Leuzinger will retain first place in the Bay League, though, with the tie, if they in fact do tie. And again, a good game next week on Channel 60, Santa Monica, right here at Olympian Field.
Join us, won't you? As always, I'll be here along with Alex Manila. Of course, I'm Rufus Washington. We hope to have Mike Gurritowski get back in the booth with us tonight. A very, very welcome addition to the effort tonight. And it took all three of us and then some to call this one because it's just been too much for any two people to handle. Here's a 3rd down and 2 play. They're down it.
Content to let the clock run out. And so the
Leuzinger coaches screaming for a timeout, and they finally get one.
the Olympians appear to have battled.
Leuzinger coach jumping up and down on the sideline, screaming for a timeout.
And it looks like the Cougars are chickening out. I mean, what more could you call it? They have nothing else to pull out of their bag of tricks, so why not sit on the ball and be satisfied with a tie? I think the Cougars and Casillas would be more man enough to try to pull something out.
Well, this deep in their own end zone, Alex, I think that the last thing you want to do is lose a game like this that you've played so hard for. Now, I'm only trying to get inside Coach Casillas' mind. This guy's played hard for 47 minutes and 48 seconds. He doesn't want to lose it, especially in it backed up against his own end zone in the last 12 seconds. However, I have to ask myself, there were 12 seconds when that play started. If the Olympians wanted to call timeout, why did they lose so much time?
I think that was a mistake on the part of the players, and yes, you're exactly right. One of the officials may not have called timeout quickly enough, or the clock operator did not stop the clock, and we're going to get some time put on the clock right now. They're running it down.
And it's not a malfunction, folks. The clock is going down.
And it'll be critical how much time is put on that clock because the ball will automatically change. I mean, the clock will automatically stop on the change of possession. So Leuzinger needs to play hard-nosed defense here, and the referee's got to blow the whistle as soon as the play is dead. You know, and we'll be watching that very, very closely. If, in fact, the Leuzinger defense is up to the task and holds Hawthorne here, you've got Angel Andrade with 1 shot left at deciding this game. Wouldn't that be a miracle?
Little bit of pressure on his shoulders if he gets the chance, but you know he's an athlete, he's a competitor. He's begging for the chance right now on the sideline. Just give me 1 kick. Clock running down now, 7, 6, 5. 5 seconds. They're going to stop it with 5 seconds to go.
On the clock, it is now 4th
There he
down.
is.
They put 1 second. They put 1 second. That's their 4th and 6. Let's see, folks. Let's see. I'm sure Conway's going to run the clock out, however. He's been told to just run back. And there it is. Oh, boy, he's running it out. That's the ball game. They took the easy way out, folks. They had to say this. Hawthorne Cougars took the easy way out in the final analysis. They ran it, well, it's the smart way. I thought the easy way. I'm sure they would beg to differ and call it the smart way. So, Angel Andrade doesn't get his chance as I predicted. I was close, though, Angel, because it almost rested on your foot. But it all goes for naught, guys. This game ended up in a tie.
I don't mean to be mean, but both you guys were wrong on your predictions. Alex picked Hawthorne, you picked Leuzinger, and it was a tie. Nobody picked a tie. 3 out of 4 years these two teams tie. And just shows you how evenly matched these two schools are and how hard they love to play against each other.
I think you can say in the final analysis it was indeed
in the Kings' victory. They beat Vancouver 6-4.